Okay guys, welcome back. So last few videos, I think we're coming to an end of this, and what we need to do in this session is we need to create a form so that our users can log in and they can submit a review for a film. But we have a problem. So I'm looking at my reviews models, and what I have at the moment is when I have been entering a review in the admin section of the website, I've been entering the author, so I've been saying who the author is, as I fill in the film. But I want is when someone logs into the website and they create a review, we want it to automatically assign who the author is based on who's logged on. So I'm going to make a few changes to the models. Now, as a result of that, what I've done is I've kind of anticipated ahead, and I've actually gone to the admin section and I've deleted all the reviews. Okay, now I probably didn't have to do that. But I didn't want to clash. No, I could have avoided that. I just wanted to do it an easy way, and hopefully then there's no clash afterwards. So what I'm going to do, instead of saying, I want to change the character field here from that, and let's change it to, let's add a foreign key. And what we want to do is we want to say user, and I'll explain this in a second, and we'll say default equals none, and we'll say on underscore delete equals models dot cascade. Okay, now this kind of we actually have to put this in, and what it basically means is that if the reviewer was to sort of delete account, then the reviewers would delete as well, or cascade. So here what we're doing is we're connecting the author to the user, or to a user on the Django database. So logged in users. What we haven't done at the moment is I need to import that. So here I need to say from Django. Did I spell that? Yes, I did. From Django .contrib .auth .models. We want to import user, or a capital U. And what this is basically doing is it's basically saying, from Django's built-in table. So for example, this is a model for our reviews, but Django also has a model for users that have been created. So actually, if we go back to our admin section, okay, for example, there's a table here for users, okay, and we know that this is a table, this is a model, this is built into Django. So what we're saying is from that table there, which we don't have access to here, but we can import it, we're going to say import it, and that's our foreign key. So our author there's going to be a relationship there between the author and the users that exist, that are logged, registered to our website. And then also, I thought it might be an idea is where we say publication date. Actually, we should say auto underscore now underscore add equals true. So this means that when the review is created, it will add the current date. And if we also were to say auto underscore now, and we say false, what this does is this means that this means that every time a form is updated or a review is updated, that we don't update the date to the updated date, we leave that. So this is just publication date, the date it was created. And then alongside that, it might also be an idea is if we were to say no, actually let's leave that. Let's carry on as we are. Okay, so it's saying no attribute foreign key. Oh, I spelled foreign key wrong. That's silly. Save that, and that should be loaded up and back in business. Okay, so now that we've done that, we've got to start thinking about creating a form. So let's go to our forms. Let's go to our forms file, and we've already got a form for creating a user. Let's also create a form for creating a review. Now, the last time we created a form, we used something called the user create form. It was for creating a user. This time we're going to do it slightly differently. We're going to use the model form template. So we're going to create this form the way we want ourselves. Review forms. Let's call it review form, and let's say we want to say import models. So model form. No, forms from model form, and let's put in class meta, and we want to say the model we want to import. I'm going to come to import these, so we want to import the model reviews, and we want the fields from our table. Let's double check what we had. We had where's our models? We had author. In fact, let's just copy this for a second. It makes it easier. Then there's no going back and forth every 2 seconds. So let me paste that there for a second. Okay, I don't want author, but I'll take right, we want title of the review. We want, oh no, they don't have to fill in the publication date. That's got to be automatically done. You want the body. Let's have a reference to the IMDb database, and let's also have an image, so like a poster. Okay, let's do that. Oh, you know, actually, one more thing. This would make sense. Let's delete that. I don't need that anymore. When we said that we were going to do this, our critic had to give a review rating as well. So let's say critic R. So import that as well. Import critic R, and let's not forget that I've got to import that table. So from, let's do it here, from this level, so dot from here, from the models, you want to say import reviews with an R. I believe it's with an R. Yes, it is. Well, with an S, sorry, no. Okay, and I just added, on our form, I added another field. So the field I added was critic R. So basically, critic review. In other words, 1 to 10. So let's go back to models. And let's add that here. So we're going to say critic R equals from models dot, and it should be an integer field. It's got to be a whole number, yeah? So we're going to say integer field. Okay, and what we also want to do is we want to use a validator. So we're going to say validators equals, oh, I haven't imported validators. So at the top, let's say from Django dot core dot validators, you want to say import the maximum value validator, and this is kind of just, you find this on the Django, what do you call it, website, value reference, what do you call it, minimum value validator. And so let's do that. So we're going to say equals maximum value validator should be 10, so that the maximum number should be 10, and then let's say the minimum number should be minimum number validator should be 1. So they've got to be putting a number between 1 and 10. And also one other thing, there should be one other thing here. Okay, well, we said date time, publication date, autumn now. I've also got to import date time. So from date time, we want to import date time. Okay, let's save that. And I think that looks alright. Obviously we've made changes to our tables, to our models. So let's say manage.py, make migrations, provide a one-off default. What's this for? Critical. Oh no. You know what? Provide a one-off default. No, I don't have to do that. There's no existing column, so just carry on. One. Let's just say one. That's fine. Okay, and then let's also migrate. Good. All right, so we've done that. Okay, so let's go in order. So we've done our form, we've done our model. The next thing is possibly let's add in our view. So we've got let's minimize that for a second, minimize registration, and let's add another one in. So here, let's say define, let's call it submit review. So submit review, and as always it takes a request. And now what we want to do is we want to say that I don't think we've been through this before, have we? Did we mention, if we go to registration, did we talk about post and get methods? I think we did. What we want to say is our form is equal to, and this is very similar to what we did for the registration. Okay, so we're going to say our form is equal to the name of the form which we have here. So it's called review form. Let's go back to our views, and there we are. It's equal to that, and we have to import it as well. So over here where we said from forms import user create form, or create user form, now we're saying import review form as well. And then request dot if request dot method, if request dot method is equal to post. So if they're sending information to our through this view, then we're saying that form equals, again, review form, but the data that comes into it, so basically we're saying collect the data from the request dot post. So collect the data from the post, and also we're gonna have files as well, because we said that they can upload images. So dot files, and we'll talk about that more in just a moment. But if you remember, if we go back to our models, we said that, oh no, I didn't say that yet. Okay, so what I want them to do is I want them to upload a poster. So to upload the poster, we're gonna say that we want to say, where's image field? We want to say upload to equals, and then we have to give where to upload to. And basically, because we've already set up our static files folder in our settings, so if you remember, we did, let's go program and project, let's go settings. Okay, we said our media files goes to images, and we've set that up, and our images file folder is inside our static folder. That's our media root. So what we now want to do is we want to say, could you please put that into, where's my models gone? Yep, so what we're going to say is, could you please put that into a folder called film underscore image. So basically the poster for our image. Okay, so what that will do is, that will now say, when we upload a file, if it doesn't exist, obviously, it's going to say go to our static folder, it's going to go to images, and inside this folder, it's going to create another folder called film image, and it's going to upload all uploads into that folder. And then what we might want as well is we might want a default file, which I will do in a moment. we'll leave that for now. Okay, so let's save that and let's carry on here. Okay, so now we're going to say if the form dot is underscore valid, so basically if there's no mistakes in the form that they submitted, then we want to say, oops, colon, we want to say review equals form dot save. So basically save the form, but we don't submit it just yet. We're also going to say commit equals false. So basically collect the data, but we're not going to write it to the database yet. And the reason for that is because we need to attach our author, and our author should be, so basically we're saying if we go back to our models, all right, we're saying that the author should be the user that's logged in. Okay, now when they fill the form in, they're not going to have the chance to say who the author is. So what we're saying now is we're going to say author dot review. So we're saying this field in the table review, and the author for that, oh sorry, it's the wrong way around. Review is the name of the form. Right, so we're saying so review is the form, and we're saying review author is equal to request dot user. So basically whoever's logged on is the author. Okay, and then once we've done that, we're going to say review dot save. So that should now save our form with the author attached to it, even though they didn't have to fill it in. Okay, so that's cool. Then we return. So basically, if they've done that, let's go back actually. So once they've done that, we want to say return these guys, redirect to home, where hopefully they will see their film review added onto the home page. And obviously then we need to have an else statement as well. So we're saying basically else else form equals review form again, and this is in case it's not valid. So if the form is not valid, then take them back to the form. Okay, and then basically if it's not a post request, then we've already stated that our form is the form, so it's a get request, and in which case then we come back to this level here, and we are now saying return. So from this function we want to return a render to the page where this form exists. So we're going to say request, and in a minute we're going to generate this. So we're going to put it into our reviews folder, reviews / review form .html, and we need some context. Okay, so we need to say what the form is. So we're going to say our context is oh, no bad, form and form. So that should be fine. That should generate that should work, and we'll test that in a minute. Before we can test it, we've got to create our template. So in fact, the way I'm going to do this, let's borrow a form. Okay, so if we go to our, let's borrow our login form. Where's our login form? Where's our templates? Our templates are down here. There's our registration. We'll borrow our login form. So I'll borrow that. Let's copy that. Let's paste it here. Okay, and we said that this was called review form. So let's borrow that. Login. Let's rename that one. review form. Okay, and let's open it up. So not much changes, to be honest. All right, so maybe I can remove the messages actually. Yeah, so I'll remove that, and let's obviously change that to review form. So review. Oh my god, what am I doing? Review submission form. Review submission form. And obviously the action isn't going to be to take us to login. Our action is going to be that it goes to our submit review. So it runs the action submit review. And there's one other thing we've got to include. Let's delete that errors bit. We're not going to run errors. Form. If you remember from our views, we said the context for our form was form, so that's fine. Form SP, that should be fine. Okay, obviously we don't want to say login, we want to say submit review. And lastly, we need to include something called enc type. So enc type equals, it's kind of already got it for me here, multi-part form data. And we only include this if we're going to include more than one kind of data. So for example, because of the fact that we're including files or images, we have to include this into our form so it knows. And if you remember when we did this over here, we said request files as well. So we're basically just saying that our form, if it's a post, so basically if it's post and they've posted a review, okay, and they've sent data into our server, our form is going to be made up of our request and the files, and request files. Okay, so I think, what am I leaving out here? URLs, right? So let's add our URLs in. So we'll make a new path, and our path is going to be, I believe it was, oh no, we can make this up. It's going to be anything. Submit review. So our extension is going to be submit review, and they need to look into the reviews, so into the views file, and let's just make sure we spell it right. It is just submit review, so they need to run that function, and let's give it a name. Name equals, let's just say submit review again. Cool, comma on the end. Okay, so that leaves us one last thing, I believe, before we can test it out. Let's go to our base.html, and if you remember, what we said was if they weren't logged in, they'd have the two options to log in and register. And now, as well as logging out, let's borrow that. I want to write it out again. All right, what we also want to say is you want to have the option of submit. Oh, hold on, let's spell it right. Go back to our URLs, and we said it was submit review. So the URL we can run is submit review, and we say submit review. Okay, so I think we're ready to test it out. I think that's everything. Let's check. Let's run our server. Now, if you remember, I said I deleted all the films. So this time when we go to view site, it's blank, but we do have that button there, and it does take us to our ugly looking form, which is fine, I guess. And we get to submit a review. So should we give that a go? Let's go to imdb.com. imdb.com. Let's find the film. Knives Out. That would do. Okay, and it looks to me that's our reference there, TT. Let's borrow that. Let's put it into our form. IMDb reference. The name of the film is Knives Out. And the review, because I'm not going to sit here and write one out, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to take someone else's user review. Perfect. And they gave it a 8-star. So we'll put that there. They gave it 8 stars. And let's save the poster as well. So save the image. Let's go to a D drive. That's where the image is saved. Let's open it. Submit review. Okay, we submitted it. But it's left us here. So did I not return somewhere? Let's double check. Okay, I think I discovered my mistake. And I think it's down to the fact that my submit button is a button, and it's not going to work like that. So let's say input. Let's make it an input. Type should be submit. Let's give it a class, even though it didn't look bad actually. Let's say btn primary. So we give it a, let's make it a large one. So we give it a bootstrap style, btlg. So that's a big button. Name is going to be, let's not have a name, doesn't need a name. And I don't think we need that. Well, instead of that, let's close that like that. And let's put that in quotation marks like that. And let's do that. And let's say value equals submit. Okay, will that work? Let's see. Let's try that again. Oh, still in the same place. Okay, after much faffing around, it seems like I made a silly mistake of not doing my migrations. So now that I've done that, there was a change I made on the image field, which I didn't apply to my migration. So now let's migrate as well. And hopefully, with that done as well, if we now go back to our page, it now seems to load correctly. So if we click on review, it loads the film. If we go back to home, it loads. And just a quick note as well. Okay, so one thing while not recording was I added that was a difference. No, sorry, that wouldn't make a difference. Is I have also added to let's go back to my models. I added a default image. So here, if I didn't explain that already, I added a default image there. So it will always look for the default image. And I downloaded this from, where are we? Film Club. This from Google. So basically, if a user uploads a film without uploading an image, then it should open up. It should set this as default, and we can try that. So let's say, for example, let's do one last film. So I've added Joker. Let's submit another one. Let's do one more. Let's go. Okay, so while not recording, I've also changed the film because the one I chose wasn't released yet, so there's no reviews for it. Okay, so we've done that. We've added it. The image has appeared as well. That's cool. Oh, sugar. I was meant to do something else. I was meant to create a film without adding the image. My bad. Let's do that one more time. So, right, I'm not including an image. And this time we're doing the row Tenenbaums. If you haven't seen this, what's wrong with you? Submit it. And that's cool. All right, so it looks there that it looks like we've submitted it and we didn't put a film heading in, so sorry, an image in, so it's done it for us. Now what we want to do is we want to make some, let's do a few more changes to this. Okay, so our form is there. Our form is now working. We'll say this is enough for this video. Jump to the next video and we'll work on the next thing, which I think really is we need to make a profile page for each author. Okay,